Calling to order the June 24th, 2025 meeting of the Panama City Commission. The time is 4 o'clock. We have an opening prayer led by Reverend Friday, pastor of Living Water Ministries, then followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Granger. Please stand.
Let us pray. Father God, we thank you for another day that you've given us, another beautiful day that you've given us in Bay County. And Father, I ask that you would bless this proceeding today, God, that you would be present with us even as we discuss issues that are germane to this community. Father, I pray that you give us unity and strengthen us together, that we might approach issues together as one to accomplish what needs to be done in this community. Father, we pray in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend Friday. You'll join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Please call the roll.
Mayor Branch.
Here.
Commissioner Lucas.
Present.
Commissioner Granger.
Present.
Commissioner Street.
Here.
Commissioner Hughes.
Here.
Mayor, you have quorum.
You've received the meeting minutes from June 10th. Is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes or amend them?
So moved.
Oh, two. Who wants to be first?
She did, I'll second.
Okay. We got a first and a second. Call the roll.
Commissioner Lucas.
Yes.
Commissioner Granger.
Yes.
Commissioner Street.
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes.
Yes.
Mayor Branch.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Are there any proposed additions, deletions, or modifications to the agenda?
Mr. Mayor, none from staff.
Any? Nope. Seeing none. Moving on. Lieutenant Head, you are up.
What's up? Come on up.
All the workshop?
I think so.
This part also. Class. Okay, 25 years. Wow. Lieutenant Gilbert Head began his distinguished career with the Panama City Fire Department on June 27, 2000. Demonstrating dedication and a strong work ethic, he was promoted to driver engineer on December 1st, 2015, and further advanced to the rank of fire lieutenant on May 25th, 2021. Throughout his career, Lieutenant Head has consistently pursued professional development. His certificates include State of Florida Pump Operator Certification, State of Florida Fire Officer 1 certification, State of Florida Instructor 1 certification. Lieutenant Head exemplifies strong leadership and is highly regarded in both his crew and department leadership. He has a lasting and positive effect on not only on his team, but also on the broader community he serves. Lieutenant Head plays a vital role in training and mentoring of new hires, ensuring that they're well equipped with the knowledge and tools necessary to protect and serve both citizens and visitors. His commitment to excellence, leadership, and service makes him a valuable asset to Panama City Fire Department. Thank you. Yes. All right. You got a good picture. Great to meet you. Thank you. Chief. Great job. Yeah. You might want to. Does you want that copy? We do. Okay. Yeah. What's up? It's in. Awesome. I'll check everybody's names. Yeah. It's in. Push pops or okay. All right, Mr. Hayes, do you want to read the community announcements?
Yes, sir. The CRA Board will host a virtual workshop tomorrow beginning at 4 p.m. Apologies. It will actually be, that is incorrect. Apologies. It will be June 25th.
July 16th.
July 16th, yes, apologies for the incorrect slide. It'll be July 16th at 4 p.m. The workshop that was held last month has been recorded and will be online, and this one will also be streamed online through the city's website, and you can watch it in Room 10 in City Hall. Again, Wednesday, July 16th at 4 p.m. City offices will be closed on Friday, July 4th in observance of Independence Day. Trash and garbage services will not occur. Normal business will resume on Monday, July 7th at 8 a.m. Join our community at the Panama City Marina for a day of patriotic festivities, family-friendly activities, and breathtaking fireworks display. The July 4th Salute to Freedom Festival promises to be a memorial experience for all ages with a lineup of exciting activities and entertainment. This family-friendly event is free and open to the public. The celebration starts at 4 p.m. and lasts until 9:30 p.m. with fireworks starting at 9 p.m. The first town hall will be held on Saturday, July 12th at 8 a.m. in the City Hall Rotunda. This is an opportunity to come with questions, concerns, and ideas to share with the mayor, commissioners, and the city manager to help better shape our city. And lastly, the City Commission will discuss the transportation impact fees proposed in a workshop on Thursday, July 10th from 4 to 7 p.m. here at the Bay County Government Building in these chambers. That's all the announcements, Mr. Mayor.
We are now entering the public hearing portion of the agenda.
Item 6A is the second and final of two public hearings on ordinance 3266, an ordinance amending section 102-2 and section 102-36 of the Unified Land Development Code, or ULDC, providing exceptions for development order, review, and approval. As background information, ordinance number 3266 as proposed will amend section 102-2 and section 102-36 of the ULDC, providing additional exceptions to the requirement for development order review and approval. Additional relevant information is enclosed in your packet. Staff recommends that the City Commission approve the request. Staff findings is enclosed in your agenda packet. This item was previously reviewed by the Planning Board on May 12th of 2025, and the Planning Board recommended approval unanimously. Again, staff recommendation to the Director of Development Services is that the City Commission conduct the second and final hearing and approve the ordinance. I will note that you were passed along via email and then by me yesterday afternoon, and then provided a copy earlier this evening by the clerk's office. Commissioner Hughes did request one change to it in red on page 2. We did not consider this to be substantial. It was basically removing specific descriptions and just keeping it that anything under 100 square foot would not require it. So recommendation from staff stands for passage. Mr. Mayor?
All right, this is a public hearing. If there are any members of the public who wish to speak, please come forward. We got 2. Come on up. Please state your name. Please keep the comments under 3 minutes.
Oh, Jared Jones.
Good afternoon, Commission. Jerry Parker, Beacon of Bay County. I want to address the public commentary situation that has come up with you, Mayor.
This is only related to the agenda item.
Pardon me?
This is only the agenda item at hand.
An agenda item, so we can't speak public commentary
This is related to
anymore.
a public hearing regarding the ordinance 3266.
So public commentary is not available?
Only related to agenda items, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
If you have a comment on this particular ordinance, yes, 3266.
It's because we're in a public hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone else related to this agenda item? Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Are we speaking of the public hearings, or we haven't gotten to audience participation yet?
This is related to ordinance 3266. Anyone else related to 3266? All right, seeing no more comments, we'll have a motion to accept.
Motion to approve.
Second. Who wants to take the second?
Robbing had it.
Okay. Any discussion? No discussion? All right, call the roll.
Commissioner Lucas?
Yes.
Commissioner Granger?
Yes.
Commissioner Street?
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes?
Yes.
Mayor Branch?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
The commission has adopted ordinance number 3266, an ordinance of the City Commission of Panama City, Florida, amending sections 102-2 and 102-36 of the Unified Land Development Code, providing exceptions to the requirement for a development order, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for severability, providing for codification, and providing for an effective date.
All right, we are now in a quasi-judicial hearings.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, these are quasi-judicial and public hearings. As a reminder, during quasi-judicial proceedings, the commission will hear evidence and render a decision regarding the matter presented based on the evidence received. The parties before the commission and the public are entitled to present evidence, documents, witnesses, etc., and cross-examine witnesses. All parties and witnesses will be under oath and the entire proceedings recorded. The commission is not bound by the strict rules of evidence and may consider any evidence which it deems relevant and trustworthy. Any member of the commission may ask questions of the parties or of the witnesses. Since quasi-judicial proceedings are legal in nature, everyone is expected to adhere to proper courtroom decorum and etiquette. Any comments or objections should be directed to the mayor. The burden of proof in quasi-judicial proceedings rests with the applicant, and therefore the applicant has the opportunity to address the commission last after all public participation and before the commission deliberates. Ms. McSwain?
Thank you. At this time, this is for item 7A only. I will swear in staff, and I will swear in anyone who wishes to testify at this public hearing. Please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. And Commission, I will also ask that you disclose any ex parte communication. This is any communication that you have received outside of speaking with staff, your attorney, and this public hearing that you intend to rely on. If it's the same information you hear at this public hearing, there's no need to disclose. You only need to disclose a person's name whom you've spoke with. Is there any ex parte communication? Okay, seeing none.
Right. Item 7A is the second and final two of public hearings on ordinance 3267, an ordinance amending the zoning map of the city to reflect a zoning designation of a planned unit development or PUD for a property located at 63S 12W-1, which is parcel ID 03875-000-000 here in Bay County. The applicant, Mr. Ray Greer, has requested a rezoning to a planned unit development on behalf of the property owner, Mr. Thomas Shelton. The subject property encompasses approximately 1,200 acres, which was previously annexed into the city in 1998 and given then a future land use designation of urban community in 2010. Staff recommends that the City Commission approve the request. This item was previously reviewed by the Planning Board on May 12th of 2025, and the Planning Board recommended approval unanimously. Following documents are enclosed: Ordinance 3267, the staff analysis report and recommendation, and the adopted map series. Staff recommendation through the Director of Development Services recommends that the City Commission conduct the second and final public hearing and approve the ordinance.
All right, this is public comments, but I believe you got to be sworn in, correct?
Ready to.
So there's only two people that are available for comments now. It would be, unless I get sworn in again.
If they come up.
So this is public comments. If you want to have a comment related to this agenda item, come forward. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. My name is Ray Greer. My address is 2910 Cary Forest Parkway, Tallahassee, Florida, and I am the applicant's representative. And as we discussed a couple of weeks ago in the commission meeting when this item came up for their first reading, we're here to rezone this property to PUD. As I mentioned, this is in Panama City North. We have the land use that's set on this property. This property does not have a zoning category, and where we're at in this stage of the process is at the rezoning stage. What we'd like to do is to establish the PUD zoning for this property, along with the PUD that will go along with it, and then work with the city on future development plans for this property. But right now, we're actually at the zoning part of this. And in the future, we'll look at development plans and bring back a development plan to you with development orders and phases for developments, but that will be in the future. And I'd be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Ray, at what stage will you do a traffic analysis up front?
What's out on the traffic analysis?
Yes, sir.
So in the PUD does require traffic analysis, so we analyzed the traffic for the entire development, which is, the development is set up in the comprehensive plan at a maximum for the 1,200 acres of 1,800 units and 450,000 square feet of commercial. So we ran an overall traffic analysis for like a large-scale land use amendment, and we took into consideration the improvements that are going in at Star Avenue and at 231 and John Pitts. So those improvements were calculated into the overall traffic analysis. And there's impacts on 231, but once the 6 laning of 231 happens, it does alleviate some of the impacts. But as we go forward with development, we'll have to submit a traffic analysis at each development phase. So all this will be analyzed at each development phase. And then at that, and we know, I mean, there's going to be water and sewer improvements. There's going to be traffic improvements that occur out there. But through those development phases, those improvements will occur throughout the development.
So you use the analysis of Star Avenue because you're going to put John Pitts Road through?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do want to point out to the rest of us up here on the commission that looking at all these roads here, we don't control any of them. They're all controlled by the county. So in future discussions, those are all controlled by the county.
Yeah, they're county roads and state roads. And of course, driveway connection. We go to develop the first phase, we have to go to the county for a driveway connection to John Pitts. And then they are also involved in the traffic analysis from then on. They'll be the city and the county as this property is developed for overall traffic impacts, and DOT.
Very good.
Motion we approve.
Second.
Thank you.
Any discussion? No? Call the roll.
Commissioner Lucas?
Yes.
Commissioner Granger?
Yes.
Commissioner Street?
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes?
Yes.
Mayor Branch?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Commission has adopted ordinance number 3267, an ordinance zoning a parcel of land located at 6-3 South 12 West 1, parcel ID 03875-000-000, Panama City, Florida, having approximately 1,200 acres planned unit development, providing for severability and providing for an effective date.
Okay, this is audience participation related to agenda items. The comments are 3 minutes long, just like they've always been. When you come up, please state your name and your address for the record. Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, it'd be helpful if they would tell us which item they're referencing
Yeah,
as well, so we can take good notes. Thank you, sir.
Kenneth Bostic. I grew up at 1109 Friendship. I live out in Lynn Haven. I gotta watch what I say because of mine. When I was a kid, we'd go down to the marina. Well, there wasn't no marina. It was a wooden dock. Well, we went out there, and you would see all these headboats.
Is this related to an agenda item?
What's that?
Is this related to an agenda item?
Agenda item? I can't talk.
No, sir, we moved those to Saturday, so more.
So y'all silenced
No,
all
sir, we
your
moved it to a
speakers?
Saturday.
What's that?
We moved it to a Saturday, so more people can attend.
So there's no public comment,
There is, related to agenda items.
but only an item?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm happy to get an email from you or meet with you anytime you'd like.
Well,
But please
everything
attend-
changes.
It's July 10th is the first town hall,
It's the 12th, I believe. Is that a Saturday?
Saturday morning.
Yep, July 12th. It'll be in the morning.
We'll adjust those meetings at the
Yep.
time.
I really,
Participation.
Mr. Branch, I respect you as a mayor and as a property owner, but everybody used to have their 3 minutes. And I understand you said it was too long, so we stopped it.
Yeah.
And I wish you well. Drive down 7th Street and look at the array.
Please
It's
send me-
just the city's falling apart.
Yeah. Anna, will you give him one of my cards?
Y'all have a good day.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Mayor, if I may, pulling up the rules of procedure as I understand them, it says that citizen input, when we voted on changing these rules, I didn't realize that we were voting on changing to go to where only citizens could speak to us.
Well, we're not.
Or, sorry, that was one of the options, but that only agenda items would be addressed. In your motion, that's not what it says in the minutes. And the rules of procedure, as was sent to me, still say that audience participation shall be held prior to the business of the city for items appearing on the agenda and for all other items within the purview of the city's commission's authority. So my point is that if that's the direction that we want to go, then our rules do not currently reflect that.
Ms. McSwain?
Yes, at this time, the rules say what they say, and it does not reflect that only agenda items are allowed to be spoken on, but rules are also, the board makes the rules, and you can amend those rules and limit the discussion during commission meetings for an orderly meeting to agenda items only. And
So it was not reflected in the meeting minutes, or we didn't motion it properly? What was the disconnect in the past 2 weeks where this hasn't come back to me?
as far as I know,
I can't come to you with.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, the understanding is that the commission did not have as we met with each commissioner and the city manager was in those meetings, that there was not a consensus on what was motioned. And so it would be appropriate, since there's a majority vote, that anyone who was within that majority vote could make a new motion to clarify and amend what happened.
Sure. Well, then, is it fair to go back to public open comments today and then put that on the agenda item to talk about next meeting?
You are welcome to do that as well.
Okay, let's open up the public comments to anyone who wants to mention anything, not just on agenda items.
I think moving forward, when we have motions, the more specific the motion, the better it is. Because I thought that I was voting on specifically for workshop meetings, and not. I thought we were changing because we can't say you can't speak. We can't say that to Mr. Henry. In a commission meeting, but outside of a commission meeting, in a workshop, then I thought that's what we were changing our vote to.
Yeah, I just
So
would hope this would come back to me within 2
weeks.
weeks, and even on the call this morning, I wish
Yeah.
I'd been really clarified that this was adopted or not adopted clearly. Thank you.
Yeah, my understanding was, as presented and how it's being ran, that the one thing that was not adopted from the presentation was the citizen and business owner, because statute says for all. I did do some further research because, I think there were some comments and really just do discussion. I do think it's good for it to come back next time for us to kind of discuss further. But Florida legislature, they have a very similar rule. However, they do a much tighter time than what we allow here. And so, I think the point was to try to streamline and move the meetings along from what I understood, and I think can provide a larger opportunity at an alternative time for any topic of discussion to come up that we could actually have time to unpack and address. That was my understanding. Now, if that wasn't what everyone understood, then yeah, let's bring it back next time and let's talk through it.
Mr. I'm not in charge of the minutes, but I concur, just for the record, with Commissioner Street. I believe it was pretty clear what we were voting on, or y'all were voting on 2 weeks ago. I just want to state that for the record. So.
Okay, anyone else want to say anything else? No? All right, so we're going to go.
Was it clear to y'all?
Put in if allowed. So for me, that allowed someone to come to the podium and say, I would like to address something not on the agenda, and then we could allow that. So it's a process that we would follow. Because I shared with Jonathan in my briefing, what would be a situation where citizens would want to come and address us and about something that's not on the agenda that they would definitely want the full body to hear. The example I had was when we had announced that the golf cart ordinance would come up the next meeting. Legal then advised between meetings that we needed to do something legally to make sure that ordinance was ready for our vote, so it wasn't on the agenda. So if someone had come to the meeting to speak to that, thinking it was on the agenda, that would be a reason, Or if something happened in the community that people were very much concerned about, and we had the next meeting, that they could come and say it. So I think it's a process that can be implemented that will help us to move smoothly along.
See, I understood that if allowed to be applicable to only workshops because we wouldn't disallow the public to come talk to us during this meeting. I mean, by law, we're not allowed to. So that's how, that when this.
But
yeah.
that, even in this conversation, that's the slippery slope, if you will.
Yeah.
I think the 3 minutes
I'm sorry, can y'all pull your mics a little bit closer,
I
Commissioner
think the
Hughes?
3 minutes is
Lucas, thank
it's
you.
kind of like the boat ramp. It's been around a long time, and it's what we've always done. We work for the public. If we're here an extra 20 minutes, okay? But, they also have another opportunity to come and talk as much as they want on a Saturday. So if you miss the opportunity or your 3 minutes runs up, I think Alan's doing a good job of moving them in, moving them out, and hearing from them is okay with me. And that's just part of it. And we'll have a Saturday to work with on that, any extra. But I would be in favor of anybody coming up for 3 minutes.
Okay, so we'll stick with the adopted meeting procedures for today, and then discuss it again potentially next meeting or a virtual meeting.
We can bring that back to you, and like Commissioner Lucas had mentioned, that you did adopt if allowed, so you're allowing it. That is a consensus that you're allowing. And then also for Commissioner Granger, his comments that public participation is required, you can be very specific and limit it to agenda items only, because the statute requires that you must provide public participation for anything that the commission will vote on. So that is the one requirement, that if you are going to vote, public participation is required prior to that vote. And it could be at a different meeting, but it is required prior.
Okay, so let's have open public comments on agenda items or non-agenda items, and then we'll workshop the idea to make sure we're on the same page. Make sense? All right, you're up, Mr. Henry.
Thank you.
I need to just stand here, let the man come back and talk.
Oh, is he still here?
I think he left.
He's welcome. So he also has my business card.
Walter P. Henry, 614 Maple Avenue. I like the Millville treatment plant. I heard that we was going to venture do away with that plant. I don't know when, how many years y'all looking back that y'all want to do away with this plant. Looking at what the money that y'all putting in here for repairs on this plant now. And I feel that money should not be wasted. I don't know when y'all got y'all planning on moving this plant and or whatever you go do with it. But I know that we are, I just don't believe in just throwing money down the drain that you could keep and use it when you do ready to get this plant done. I don't know if Millville is in that bad of shape. Millville has been upgraded many times. And man-made stuff tear down. Nobody can stop that. And I don't see wasting money where money don't need to be put. I say that as well. I'm ready to see something go on in around my neighborhood. I see things are being done in other many neighborhoods, fixing water, sewer, and everything. I don't see nothing happening between north of 98 to 11th Street in Millville. I don't know what's going on in St. Andrews. I don't know, but I think we're part of this city. We should see something going on, something happening. Taking too long, taking entirely too long, ain't having nothing done. Not even a hole dug and covered back up.
Thank you, Mr. Henry. Yes, ma'am.
Jerry Parker, the Beacon of Bay County. I do want to, pardon me?
Address?
1709 Rhett Place, Lynn Haven. I would like to discuss the public commentary situation. Mr. Branch, I don't think you were forthcoming during your campaign to let us know what your forward situation was going to be involving public commentary. I don't think it's very citizen-focused. I think it's government-focused. It's stifling the citizen from being able to come up here and voice their opinion on anything that involves the city. Anything. And for you to say every other month? Every other month? Are you kidding me? How are you going to address that every other month? The situations with the citizens. How are you going to address that? This is not citizen-focused. It is government-focused. It's stifling the citizens. And it's almost communistic, in my opinion. It might be legal, but it's not very citizen-focused as far as I'm concerned. This needs to be undone, and it needs to go forward with regular citizen comments. You putting it on a level of where, oh no, it's only every other month? No, that don't cut it. That is not a good thing. It's just not. And y'all need to rethink that. And y'all need to revote that. Because I know several cities are trying to do that, and I guarantee you it will be shut down. The citizens will uproar over this, and I'll make sure of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Michelle Bryant, 409 East 9th Street. My particular comment is regarding the agenda item regarding the, I just had it, 11D specifically regarding the notice of vacancies on the Charter Review Committee. I can tell you, I have reviewed the charter, and it took me days. And so when I look and see at the vacancy, I see where each commissioner is being tasked with assigning someone to the committee. And my ask is that you expand that. If we're going to have a thorough review of the charter, I think there needs to be multiple voices in the conversation, as well as multiple people presenting ideas to address the charter, as well as assist in making changes. You want a multitude of people on that charter. In addition, as you guys know, it's always kind of hard to get people to volunteer for things, right? And so when you narrow that scope, it makes it even more difficult or less attractive for people to want to be a part of committees. Let's just be honest, especially when you say there's no compensation, right? Of course, that's what a volunteer is. But in today's time, when you're asking people to give up their time and their energy and then limit who can be on the committee, it's kind of disheartening for citizens to want to be a part of that process. The other piece is the requirements. If you could share how many committees have that type of requirements, a background check and all those other things, I would absolutely like to know where are those specific requirements coming from for this charter committee. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Well, hi. Jody Moore on Amherst Street in Lynn Haven and the Beacon of Bay County on Facebook page. I'm coming up here to speak on the public commentary issue. This might be my only chance, so I figured I'd better take this opportunity to do that. I've never felt the need to come up here and speak to the commission before, but I feel like this is very important. I've actually met most of you. Most of you know my contributions to this city in the past. But you would prevent me with what you want to do. Sure, I can go to the town halls, I guess. I'm still not even clear on that. But you would prevent me from coming to speak to this commission if I felt the need to. And I don't appreciate that. I think that you should always be open as public servants to allowing people to come up here and address you. I totally understand. Y'all don't want to be up here for 6 to 8 hours. I get that. I wouldn't want to do that either. I went to the rec meeting last night and it was said, hey, you signed up for it. But I get that. And listen, if you want to increase efficiency, if you want to kind of lower the tone of negativity in the city, I totally understand that. And I've spoken to Mr. Branch, and actually I've emailed all of you and nobody responded, everybody on the commission. if you want to do these things, I think those are all good ideas, but you should never, ever deprive people of the ability to come up here and speak to you face to face. They have the right to do that. So I hope you will reconsider this plan. I think going forward, if there are good things happening in the city and there's a good, good rapport with the citizens. I think if people are feeling like the city's moving forward in a good direction, I think you're going to see that things are going to start to move together closely, and people aren't going to come up here and cut you out. That's not going to happen. So again, I just want to reiterate that. Please don't do this. Other cities might follow suit, and I just think that's a very bad thing for democracy. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Liz Williams. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You're smiling. Very good. We haven't done anything to y'all. Brenda Lewis Williams, 1007 North Center Avenue. I'm going to speak on two issues. One, the changes that you're offering, in my honest observation, is you are on the precipice of creating an oligarchic governmental system. Go look it up, find out what it is, and then come back with what you talked about and see if you really wish to do that and deprive the citizens of freedom of speech, because that's what that boils down to. And the other one is item 11D. I take exception with the requirements on 11D, as far as Michelle spoke on, I'll reiterate, doing a background check. Not a single one of you have had a background check to serve this city. This is a voluntary committee with no influence, no enforcement recommendations. You might take them, I don't know. But I think that is disrespectful to the community. Now, I did a mini commission meeting last night. You all probably saw it. It really doesn't matter whether you did or not. And I will continue to do them right outside of City Hall. Now, my read on this is if you're going to do this to a volunteer, you do it to each and every one of you, every city employee, in addition to doing a drug test. Random drug testing. When I worked in the prison system, we had random drug testing. Never bothered me because I didn't, don't need to. It messes with your mind. And if that is in fact the problem or one of the problems, because the scuttlebutt around here is there are folks in the city, maybe not necessarily you, but folks in the city who are using drugs. That is an endangerment to the citizens of Panama City. That needs to be addressed. And that particular requirement needs to be removed from that committee, if not all of you. Are you exerting undue influence? I think so, but we'll remedy that at another time. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir.
Even though I have notes, don't worry, it's not be
You're good.
3 minutes. I look way more important than I am.
Make sure you state your name and your address.
Diane Chadoba, 1709 Cincinnati Avenue. I'm here representing people. It might be a little bit of a throwback, but this is a post-Hurricane Michael issue. I own property that I'm now trying to sell, and I have found out through seller disclosures that the roof was never permitted by a licensed contractor post-Hurricane Michael by the previous owner. So now I'm in a position where when I sell my property, I cannot sell to a conventional buyer because they will not be able to get insurance on this property. I went to City Hall, I went to the permitting department, I was told that I can get a owner contractor permit, which I paid for, got a licensed roofing contractor to inspect the roof, do any necessary repairs or what have you, and then certify it that it was to code. And I got all that done, and then I was told, but we cannot issue a posthumous certificate of completion, a COC. So I still can't sell my house for anything but cash. Is there any way going forward that we can address this issue? Because I was told by the building department, this affects about between 14 and 17,000 residents of Bay County that are now in that selling cycle post-Hurricane Michael that are finding this out. Oh, geez, I didn't have a COC. Nobody can get insurance on this property. And I'm in a mixed-use zoned area. So it could be a business, it could be a residential buyer, but they have to pay cash. bottom line. So I was just hoping that maybe we can address this going forward, because as I was told by the permitting department at the building and code enforcement, that we're getting more and more of these folks coming in with the same issue, finding out through seller disclosures that we don't have a COC, you can't insure it, bye-bye. So I just hope that maybe there'll be something in place going forward, looking forward, for people in my same situation, that it doesn't limit our buyers.
Give her one of your cards, please, Mr. Jones. We'll follow up tomorrow, ma'am.
That'd be wonderful. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your time. And thank you for letting us open up to
That's our number one problem with
Appreciate
real
it.
estate today, what she's talking about. And why you couldn't get a permit, I don't understand. We've been getting them for the last 3 years. Maybe we can chat with them, but that is, I called a guy in Texas and he said, I'm not coming back to Florida, and he hung up the phone. He's a roofer. So there was just a lot of them going on. But there is a path to a permit, and so we can help you with that. But that is the number one problem in real estate sales tonight.
And I was-
It's not a cash sale. It's about insurance. It's not about how they buy it. So the insurance part of that is where you're getting stuck. So you will need that, yes, ma'am.
Right, and that is, insurance is a big
Yes,
thing in the state of Florida, as we all know.
So I brought your exact issue to the building department, and they said that it shouldn't be a problem moving that forward. Now, I don't know what the solution is. I don't remember. This was almost a year ago. But yeah, I've had friends in very similar situations, and so I brought that kind of hypothetical to them. They said it didn't seem to be that big of an issue moving forward. So yeah, sounds like there should be a remedy.
I hope so,
Yeah.
because I was told 5 different stories by 5 different people, and each time I asked the question, I got a different answer. Well, this is your pathway. This is what you need to do. Checklist, checklist, checklist. Checked all the boxes, and I still didn't get anywhere. And I'm still at the point where I was told I can't get insurance on that property going forward. So hopefully it can be remedied. And
Thank you.
I speak on behalf of those that
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
were in my same situation. And it was shocking to me. It was shocking. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Joe, help you out. Thank you so much.
Anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you, Diane.
Mayor Branch.
Any other public comments? Anybody else? All right, going once, going twice. Sold. Now we're moving on to the consent agenda. Items 9A through 9G will be considered a single motion unless pulled. Are there any requests to remove an item or have a separate discussion?
Mr. Mayor, request item 9D, so I can address it, be pulled if the commission would so allow. 9D regarding the Millville wastewater treatment plant.
Did you say 9 Bravo?
9 Delta.
9 Delta.
Yep.
I'll motion to approve minus 9D unless somebody else wants something else off.
I'll second.
All right, we got a first and a second. Call the roll.
Commissioner Lucas?
Yes.
Commissioner Granger?
Yes.
Commissioner Street?
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes?
Yes.
Mayor Branch?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Now, does that move to the
No,
top?
I'll just deal it right, not now, Mr. Mayor. Item 9D is consideration to award bid PC 25-006 to Millville wastewater treatment plant generator replacement to Marshall Brothers, and approval to execute the contract in the amount of $4,564,600. As background information, an invitation to bid was advertised by the city on October 30th of 2024 to secure competitive bids for the Millville wastewater treatment plant generator. 4 proposals were received and opened by city staff on March 19th of this year. The lowest responsive bid was from Marshall Brothers in the amount of $4,564,600.00. The intent of the project is to replace the existing generator that serves the Millville wastewater treatment plant with a new standby power system to fully serve and operate the plant. Staff recommends the city award the bid to Marshall Brothers in the amount of $4,564,600. The Florida Division of Emergency Management, or FDM, is in the process of drafting the amendment to the HMGP agreement, which is the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program through FEMA. The current budget is a little bit lower than that, but a budget amendment will be submitted for approval at a later date to accept the additional funds from the increase in both agreements. The following documents are included in your agenda item: the tabulation, the proposed contract with Marshall Brothers, the bid recommendation letter, and the approval for the budget increase request. Again, staff recommendation to the Director of Public Works is that the commission approve this. I asked this to be pulled off, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, because of some comments that were made earlier, and I understand fully the sentiment in the community that this money would be better served elsewhere other than on an 80-year-old wastewater treatment plant. However, as each of you knows, and even I think folks in the audience and Mr. Henry knows this, that if right now today y'all said, go build a new wastewater treatment plant in Panama City North, that's a 7 to 10 year project. Okay. In the meantime, we still have a moral and a legal requirement to operate this wastewater treatment plant. We are under a consent order from the Department of Environmental Protection requiring us to do this particular item, as well as the item further on under City Manager for the odor control. So this is not something that staff is saying, oh, we just want to go do this instead of focusing on other things. This is FEMA, Department of Environmental Protection at the state level, as well as the Department of Environmental Protection telling the city of Panama City, you are going to do this, and also giving us the money to do it. So I just wanted to kind of set the stage for that and let you know that that's why we have to do this. A large portion of our city still relies on the operation of the Millville wastewater treatment plant. And the event that it loses commercial power, we need a generator that will completely fund that, completely operate and serve that facility. So that's why this is before you today. So again, staff recommends approval, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners.
So we have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second, but I'd like to make a comment too.
All right.
The only comment that I'll follow up, this was a project specifically, I know that Jenna and I had both expressed, great passion to try to move this from that, but we also started on these consent orders that came from FDP. And so now at this point in time, we've got almost $10 million spent into this plant. So I know that there's a study that's going on right now on relocating this plant. I think it would be wise for us to pivot that to being either how we handle Panama City North, additional stuff, because I don't see how financially it's going to make sense for us to try to do a relocation on a plant we've just invested $10 million into over the last 3 years. And so that just was one comment that I'd like to.
If I may respectfully just clarify and expand on your comment, Commissioner Street. So it's not just looking at relocation. It's looking at 6 or 7 different feasible options. Mott McDonald has that. That is also a grant that was given to us by the Department of Environmental Protection to pay for this feasibility study. I believe we expect that back sometime this fall from Mott McDonald Engineering Firm, and it will look at, again, 6 or 7 different options. The primary one of which is to relocate it, but they're not just looking at that. They're also looking at hardening it and continuing to invest in its expansion. We may not want that, but that is a practical option for us to consider, potentially relocating some of it over to the advanced wastewater treatment plant at Military Point, and the rest of it over to our plant over on the west side of town at 16th and 23rd Street. There's some other options as well, creating some additional master lift stations, and of course, I think the main one would potentially be relocating it. But again, even right now today, if y'all said go, you're looking at 7 to 10 years easily.
So I'd say that to the benefit of Mr. Henry's comment, it has been something we've communicated multiple times over and over again, but the further we keep investing into it, the harder and more difficult it becomes to move it. This is grant funding that's supplying this, so it is what it is, and it's under a consent order, so we kind of have to do it, but it's also backing us into a corner.
Unless the generator could be picked up.
Yeah, exactly. The whole plant. I wish that was as easy as it was.
Any other discussion? All right, call the roll.
Commissioner Lucas?
Yes.
Commissioner Granger?
Yes.
Commissioner Street?
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes?
Yes.
Mayor Branch?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Mr. Mayor, before we go forward, Reverend Henry also asked about activity in Millville, north of 6th Street, south of 11th. And with your approval, I'd like for the city manager to just tell them about the project we approved last meeting, the infrastructure project that is going to take care of water and sewer on Center and between 11th and 7th Street.
Happy to respond, Mr. Mayor, if that's okay.
Yes.
Yep. So Commissioner Lucas is referencing to what we call Project Area X or Project Glenwood. It is a fully funded CDBG-DR project, Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery. It's approximately a $6 million project over in the east part of Glenwood. We'll completely redoing all of the water lines, the sewer lines, either replaced or lined as needed. it. If we have the ability to put in sidewalks, depending on the right-of-way space we have, we will do so. There'll be some stormwater work as well, depending on certain needs and if there's kind of interference with the with the water and sewer. And then, of course, after we tear up all the roads, brand new roads will go back. So it's very similar to a lot of these other projects around here, but this is again, somewhere between $6 and $7 million project on top of Area S, which was kind of in and around Ascension, Sacred Heart, or Bay Medical, which was almost $10 million. And so we continue to, again, spend hundreds of millions of dollars in infrastructure projects across all 4 wards of our city through a myriad of different funding sources, whether it be HMGP, CDBG-DR, our own state revolving fund line of credit that we have through the state, and even our own internal resources out of our operations for both the utilities fund as well as the general fund.
And so just to clarify, east of Bay Avenue, between 11th and 5th or 6th Street is what we call North Millville. That's part of Millville. And Mr. Henry, the call from Millville, I've heard it loud and clear for that particular area. And we are planning to convene with city staff, those who are interested in talking about not only what we are doing, what's in the plan, but what you'd like to see done in that area.
And I'll just add, prior to the construction actually starting, we'll have a public meeting, myself and Commissioner Lucas, as well as the Public Works team to answer, and we'll bring the contractor who's going to do it. Because again, with this type of project, we're going into an active living neighborhood and rebuilding it. So it is going to be very disruptive. Each of the commissioners have experienced that. And so, we want to make sure that we, over communicate, let them know on the front end, all that will entail, and make sure that they get to ask their questions of staff, as well as of the contractor. And I'm trying to remember, Mr. Murphy, who got that award? Do you remember? Area X over in North Millville, Glenwood area? Okay, I'm sorry. I want to say it's, I think it's Royal American. I can't remember. So.
It is, because he just told me they got it.
No, that's a task order. Yep, but that's it. So.
Thank you.
9A.
Number 11.
Oh, we're done already?
Or 10.
We blew through those quick. Mayor's report. Okay, let's see here. I have some notes. These are some more things that I'd like to discuss changing in our meetings. One being awards. I love awards. I want staff to be recognized as much as we can. But the purpose of an award is for the recipient. And what I'd love to discuss is potentially moving the awards. Maybe the lieutenant would have preferred the fire chief to announce what he's accomplished, someone who has a direct relationship with him. Or maybe he would have preferred a cash bonus instead of a plaque. But what I want to do is give staff members who are up for awards options instead of just come take a picture with the mayor and get recognized at a public meeting. I don't think that's great for us as politicians, but might not be what they want. And so that's one item I'd like to see, and I'd like to move proclamations, an open invitation, not just for me to give proclamations, but for anyone. If there's a proclamation that comes to us, I've got 3 already, that you're passionate about, I'd love the commissioners to give that proclamation. I know it's unusual, but it's something that's really, if you have a human connection with it, I'd love to see someone else handle the proclamation at a place and time that they see fit. Not just the defaults here, not just the defaults the mayor. I got one today or yesterday about childhood cancer. That might be something that really touched someone up here and they want to give the proclamation versus me. And so I want to have a discussion on that. Those 2 items, proclamations and awards.
You do want to have a discussion?
Yeah. Or alternatively, we can move it to one of the virtual meetings.
I mean, I think what I'm understanding your point is, Mayor, that there's a lot of expense that goes into this specific meeting because of the personnel that we have here.
Yeah.
So, this is the department heads, these are everybody that's here. And so you're trying to condense the time down this meeting while allowing other meetings to happen that don't require as much expense. don't see an issue. I mean, I would encourage us if like somebody wants specifically to do a proclamation at commission meeting, I would be happy to see it regardless.
Yeah.
So, but I think if like as a practice, if they're done someplace else and it's just some special occasion or something like that, that's fine. I mean, when somebody gets to 50 years, if somebody's worked for us for 50 years, I mean, bring it, we'll do a whole.
Yeah, what we don't want to do is like give them a plaque and we're like, you're welcome. They're like, in the trash. That's what we want to avoid. We want them to be, it's special, not just to us, but to them as well.
Maybe we could ask Vicky, or you could ask Vicky to see like, hey, what do the employees prefer as far as
Yeah. So actually, I already asked that question because the mayor and I spoke about this. And I mean, I think I'm not going to say everybody, but I think the general consensus that the employees, I think, would appreciate it a little bit more, like at the rotunda, maybe say the last Friday of the month, to that end. That's more of a kind of a family celebration. Sure. I don't know that, every one of them likes coming down here at a commission meeting with no disrespect, but with the media cameras aimed at them and everything. So proclamations is a totally separate conversation, but I think generally the staff would support the recognition of years served. And I believe we don't start it till 20 years, correct, Vicki, at the commission meeting? Yeah, 20 years. So they would only come if they're 20 plus or retiring with 20 plus years.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is you don't want to get rid of it. You're just wanting to give them different options.
100%.
Yeah, I back that. And for the awards you had mentioned, like a cash bonus. I mean, I had tried to explore some of that before when I first got on the commission. I was trying to explore different ways to like incentivize city employees. I think that's a lot harder of a lift to do. I'm not saying we shouldn't do it, but I'm just saying it's a lot harder of a lift to do, especially if we're cutting budgets or we're asking them to do more with less on the budget side of things. Or do less with less. But
I think what I understood was if we cut an hour cut out of this meeting from what I got it's like $1,000.
Yeah.
So that's not a chump change.
To be fair, if somebody's been working for us for 40 years and they'd like to be recognized in front of a podium, then
We'll give them a huge
come on
plaque.
down, right?
Yeah, I mean, my point is that
So-
plaque probably is $50, but the time to write it and this and that, it probably ends up being $500. I'd much rather give them the equivalent of maybe they prefer the plaque. And so I'd
Yeah,
get
some people really like the plaque. Some people really, really do.
So is the either or the plaque and the money or Friday or here? Which one are we talking? Because now
Yeah, I'd love to see staff just come back with some options. Okay. We don't have to figure it out up here right now and just have staff come back that we're open to that sort of thing.
Very good.
Now, for proclamations, I'd love it if you just read all of them.
It was like in high school English classes. It's just Liz Williams. But no, I mean, yeah, some of those proclamations might be near and dear to your heart, military appreciation or something like that,
And I think in the past we have done that. We have. I mean, obviously, you're going to get the lion's share of it because you're the mayor. So that's usually who they come to first.
You get the big bucks.
Yeah, you get the big bucks. And a lot of times we don't, like, there's some proclamations that we may just be unaware of as well, that are coming to you. And in the past have always come to the mayor, and we are just not aware of them. So there's that too.
So do we need a vote on giving consensus to come back with options in the next X number of meetings, or do you just have a consensus?
I think just to ensure y'all are all on the same page, I think a motion and a vote would be appropriate, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, so I'm entertaining a motion that we tell staff to come back with options related to our discussion in the next 60 days.
Second, move it.
Second.
So move.
I'll second.
We have first and a second. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Lucas?
Yes.
Commissioner Granger?
Yes.
Commissioner Street?
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes?
Yes.
Mayor Branch?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right. We're in the city clerk agenda items. Madam Clerk.
Mayor and Commissioners, item 11A is a notice of term expiration on the Panama City Port Authority. The Panama City Port Authority has a position for a 4-year term that expires on June 26, 2029. The current member, Elizabeth Walters, has served on the Port Authority Board of Directors since July 28, 2009, and has expressed an interest in retaining her position on the board. It should be noted that members who have served 8 years on this board must be reappointed by a unanimous vote of the City Commission, and Ms. Walters would fall under that criteria.
Do we have any other applicants?
No other applicants.
A motion that we approve.
Second.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Lucas?
Yes.
Commissioner Granger?
Yes.
Commissioner Street?
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes?
Yes.
Mayor Branch?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr.
Item 11B.
Yes.
Item 11B is an announcement of vacancy on the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee. The Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee has one 12-month position. Interested parties should complete a board application located on the city's website or contact the city clerk at cityclerk@panamacity.gov. This is Commissioner Hughes' appointment, unless you have someone that you're ready to nominate, sir?
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to nominate Ethan Brown, who was here but had to leave. He spent his life in the public parks area, with his grandfather being Frank Brown. So he's used to that, and that would be kind of cool to have him on that. So that would be my recommendation.
Awesome. I'm entertaining a motion to accept Ethan Brown, the Parks Committee, and the other 4 nominees. Is that correct?
The other 4 have been appointed.
Have already been appointed. Okay, so
Right.
I'm looking for a motion for just Ethan.
That's correct.
All right.
Is that your motion?
Do I make the motion?
You can.
I'll make the motion that we accept Ethan Brown to the Parks and Rec Committee.
Second.
I think he needs you.
Any discussion?
Meet me, but I think he needs you.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Lucas?
Yes.
Commissioner Granger?
Yes.
Commissioner Street?
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes?
Yes.
Mayor Branch?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. Item 11C is a notice of vacancy on the Board of Trustees for the City of Panama City Municipal Police Officers Pension Trust Fund. The current member, Clayton Seifert, does not wish to remain on the board, so this is a notification to apply for anyone who's interested to apply at the city clerk's office on the city's website or at the city clerk's office. The position expires on June 12th, 2029. Item 11D is a notice of vacancies on the Charter Review Committee. The Charter Review Committee has 5 positions open. These are initial appointments for this committee. Interested parties should complete an application located on the city's website or contact the city clerk at cityclerk@panamacity.gov. I want to make clear that these recommendations for the members have not been voted on by commission. These are just recommendations that there were no terms determined at the last meeting, but we were instructed to go ahead and notice the positions. So these rules can be changed at any time. But what we put together was based loosely on Lynn Haven's Charter Review Committee rules. So that's where these rules came from. What we have recommended is the committee will review the city's charter and make recommendations to the city commission for amendments to the charter. Such recommendations shall be approved by a majority vote of the committee, and meeting dates and times will be determined by the committee members. The committee shall consist of 5 members. Each city commissioner and the mayor shall appoint 1 member to the committee to be approved by the entire city commission. The term of the committee will be until such time as a recommendation is made to the city commission. All committee members shall reside within the boundaries of the City of Panama City, Florida, be registered of City of Panama City voters, and be subject to a background check. All committee members shall serve without compensation. So those are the rules that we based from Lynn Haven's Charter Committee.
Would it be appropriate to discuss those right now? Okay, perfect.
Now? Yeah. I asked that very question about the background check, and I'd like to strike that as a recommendation. And I looked for the other committees as well, that was not needed. And this is an important one. And I'm excited that since 1963, now we're going to jump into it and make some changes or get some updates. I intend to appoint Brandon Jensen. If we're going to make some names today, I'd just like to let everybody know that. And I don't know when we're going to do it, but I just wanted people to know that I've already made that commitment. And I think he'll do a great job.
Spot. So
Y'all did that to me last time. Yeah, good.
So that was my question for the group is what do we want to self-impose for time limit on this and getting names back?
I mean, I'm ready.
30 seconds.
I'm ready today as
Yeah,
well.
I'm ready to.
Well, I'd like to come back and.
I guess I'm
It's a secret.
Robbie and
Okay.
last time.
I mean, for me, who I would really like to appoint is Ron Danzy. He's already reached out and asked, and I think Ron Danzy, he's got a tremendous amount of experience with bylaws, very active in the city, serves as the CEO over at Palm Bay Academy. I think he'd be great, and he's interested in serving. So.
I would like for us to address the the requirement of background checking. We can somehow remove that from the requirement.
I'm opposed to the background check and the drug test. I agree that you're going to limit your pool of people who are willing to do that. And
We're not doing it for any other one either. It doesn't.
For the record, I have no concern about Ron Danzy passing a drug test or a background
not
check.
worried
I'm fine removing that.
I agree with it. We don't have those same rules, and so.
Yeah, so I agree with that, but I'm not prepared today to make a recommendation.
So, Jan, is there a method that would you like us just to tell them to reach out to you to get all the information, and then we'll just be ready to appoint next meeting?
That's correct.
Okay, all right, we'll do that.
So do we need to further discussion on any of the requirements to be on the committee?
Unless you have other changes, I'll just strike that requirement and.
Which a drug test was not a part of.
It wasn't part of it. I think that was just a comment.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there was also a comment about more than 5 members. I mean, if you want to entertain that idea, that was another
Yeah,
comment.
you could do two per person.
But I think similarly, no other committee do we need 2 for a person.
Oh, 1.5 people.
1.5.
Or I get 2 and you have one.
Can we start the process and then see like if we need more representation than that? I mean, like I've been a part of 9-member boards. We're also part of the TPO, which is 19 member boards. The more people that you add, the harder that it is to those things. I mean, I could be wrong in that. Maybe we need to have 2 more than that, but.
I'd like to see that our process for charter review include more than these 5. While they may be the board through which recommendations come to us, that as a part of their work and their process, that they would hold community forums or meetings to get input as well. Madam Clerk, what extent have you looked at the process beyond getting the committee in place?
We could certainly do something like we did with the Parks and Rec Committee and require them to do town hall and charrette type meetings. We could add that to the requirements if that's what the commission desires.
Yeah, the work plan?
Sure.
Yes.
I like that idea.
If I may, Mr. Mayor, Madam Clerk, is there typically like an assigned staffer? Like, for example, with the Parks and Rec, we identified the Parks and Rec director as kind of being the staff/director or liaison with that committee to kind of help facilitate that. I don't know if
The
typically-
attorney is the parliamentarian,
There you
so.
go. So Nevin has to do it all. Great.
The royal we.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be ready next go around, and I'll make sure that the contact goes from there. And I do agree with Commissioner Lucas that part of this process shouldn't just be, a group of 5 people. It should be a larger thing. But these are the people that we are selecting to do a review and to go through and those kind of things. I mean, this is an exhaustive process. This is a big time commitment. This is not like just doing I mean, the pension board. Like, there's a lot of work that goes into that, but a charter review that hasn't been done since the 60s is probably going to be pretty extensive.
That's correct. For another idea, you mentioned pension boards. A lot of the pension boards have a member that is elected by the board. So if you want us to have a 7-member board, have 2 elected by the board that you seat.
That's a
an idea.
good way of doing it too. But why don't we get our names in and then we'll kind of see, and maybe we could convene them once and ask like, hey, do you need more people? So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know that we need to convene them to determine if they need more people. I'd say, I like the idea that you just proposed. That's something that we just saw in one of the other boards, that they would elect 2 members to work with them. So it gives us a greater reach into the community.
The concern I have with it is that it may prove to be a stumbling block for them, and I would rather them just get to work. I mean, I wouldn't oppose it if it was, if this was a board that we were establishing for, forever, so to speak. But because the board has a specific timeline of which they're supposed to meet their goal, I'd rather not put anything else on them other than once they're on their first convening, they get to work.
Actually, Commissioner, there's no timeline here.
Oh,
But when they set one.
I definitely want a
Yeah.
timeline.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely want a timeline.
Okay.
Otherwise, it'll be another 60 years and that board will still be there.
The timeline should really be based upon what it takes to get something to an election, and so, I mean, the next election that we have scheduled is
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
So, a year convening to get to recommendations, then a year into, the election cycle to get everything put back seems kind of, for us to then take action, seems to be a pretty reasonable timeframe, I think.
Agreed.
So 1 year then for the committee to come back with recommendations?
1 year, if we need to.
Up to 1 year.
Yeah, and if we need to extend it, we'll extend it, but the goal would be they get through their review within a year,
Okay.
I think, so.
Upon their first being convened.
I mean, that would align perfectly if they bring something back next summer, fall, it'd be perfect kind of going into the spring election of 2027.
And having 7 members, if we drop off 1 or 2, we're giving them a time frame. That certainly puts them in a better position going forward. If they lose a member or 2, they've got to come back here. They've already got them in place. They can keep going. That first meeting is going to be an organizational meeting anyway, and that's part of that process.
It's a good point.
Gets to pick it too.
They do.
Okay. Do you need any carry forward?
No, I'm good. Item 11E is the presentation of the city's annual comprehensive financial report for the fiscal year ended September 30th, 2024. This presentation serves as public notice that the city's annual comprehensive financial report for the fiscal year ended September 30th, 2024 has been completed and is available for public inspection. Copies of the report will be available on the city's website at www.panamacity.gov. The city's financial statements received an unqualified opinion from the independent audit firm Tempton, Marler, Garner, and Chastain. Unqualified means clean opinion. For the 31st consecutive year, the city was awarded the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting by the Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada for the fiscal year ended September 30th, 2023 report. We believe the 2024 report will also meet the Certificate of Achievement requirements. We thank the mayor and city commission members for their guidance and commitment to planning and conducting the financial operations of the city in a highly responsible and conservative manner. We also recognize the dedicated efforts of the accounting division for the clean audit opinion and the city manager's office, the city attorney, and the department directors for their assistance with the completion of the report. That concludes my items, Mayor.
Thank you.
I'd like to make one comment really quick. Haven't seen 5 of these since I've been there. This was the cleanest report that we've had in the 5 years, and it's also a lot thinner. So congratulations, guys. Yes, that was thinner than it's ever been.
I would not use that word.
That was my first
Makes you
take
just
in
wanna go
picking
back
it
and
up.
sell
Snickers free laptop.
Yeah, that is the thinnest that it's ever been.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. City manager?
All right, item 12A is consideration of approval to enter into a lease agreement with Leasing 2 Incorporated for a period of 6 years to purchase a new command vehicle for the Panama City Fire Department in the amount of $65,888.00 and the associated resolution number 20250624.1. As background information, the Panama City Fire Department is requesting to enter into a lease agreement with Leasing 2 Incorporated to purchase a command vehicle in the amount of $65,888.00 The lease agreement will be for a term of 72 months with an annual payment of $13,352.29. The first payment this request is made to follow the PCFD's replacement schedule of utility vehicles. This vehicle will replace one of our command vehicles that was scheduled for replacement back in 2022. Slight change, the current in-service vehicle will actually be sold in auction. Staff recommendation to the fire chief is that the commission approve entering into a lease agreement with Leasing 2 in the amount of $65,888.00 for the purchase of a command vehicle under a 72-month lease and approval of the associated resolution number 20250624.1. Mr. Mayor?
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
A second.
Second. Any discussion?
I'll just add, I know there was some question about potentially, rather than doing a 6-year lease, do like kind of 2 payments, fiscal year 25 and fiscal year 26. A couple of you asked that question. If y'all want to amend your motion to direct staff to do that, we're happy to do that.
I mean, for me, I was one of those that asked that question because I don't really like equipment leasing on smaller vehicles and things like that because they depreciate in value very quickly. But I do understand the chief's point in trying to lessen the blow of what we've got to do in making budgetary adjustments this year. And so I'm in support of this one, but I would like, as we get through these next 2 years, to look at just paying either cash or much shorter terms so that we're not paying finance charges. So.
Yeah, his desire was just to, again, reduce cash flow out each fiscal year. This is for the assistant fire chief. It's almost the same vehicle that the fire chief got himself a couple of years ago. And obviously, it's the command staff being able to respond anywhere throughout the city, even into the woods and under multiple types of circumstances is critical for the command staff. So, thank you.
Have we applied for, have we done a credit check yet? Or does that happen only after the proposal is signed? A credit check?
A credit check on.
We're good?
Credit check hasn't been done, not until the proposal is signed.
Yeah, there's nothing to check.
I mean, I wouldn't be
We won't
concerned
have
about
it. We won't have any issue with
Yeah.
credit.
Yeah.
I know that.
Okay.
It's just how things are worded.
Any other discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Lucas?
Yes.
Commissioner Granger?
Yes.
Commissioner Street?
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes?
Yes.
Mayor Branch?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Commission has adopted Resolution 2025-0624.1, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Panama City authorizing the city manager to enter into a 6-year lease purchase agreement with Leasing 2 Incorporated to finance the purchase of a 2025 Chevrolet Tahoe in the amount of $65,888.
Item 12B is consideration to approve the purchasing card manual and adopt resolution 2025-0624.2 effective today, June 24th of 2025. As background information, in January of 2020, the City of Panama City established a purchasing or a P-card program to enhance the efficiency and effectiveness of the city's procurement process. To support this initiative, the purchasing division has developed a comprehensive P-card policy manual that outlines the purpose, usage guidelines, and responsibilities associated with that program. We did, inside of the purchasing manual, address some P-card policies, but it was noted that we needed a much more involved and detailed policy. So again, the success of the P-card program relies on employees' responsible use of cards, active oversight by department management, and an ongoing review and monitoring by the purchasing and accounting divisions. Adopting this manual ensures clear guidance and uniformity implementing and managing the program across all city departments and divisions. Staff recommendation to the Director of Logistics in the City Manager's Office is that the Commission approve Resolution 2025-0624.2, establishing the purchasing card manual effective today, June 24th, 2025.
Do I have a motion?
A motion to approve.
Second.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
From top down, what level gets the card? Department head, and then how far down?
Well, at the top, it would be you, Commissioner,
No.
and your colleagues. So,
Department heads, let's from there.
Well, so, I mean, it depends on really the department. You know, for example, a lot of our facility maintenance men and women have it because they're doing a lot of purchases. But the department director does review each of one of those charges before it advances. And at the end of it, over with Madam Clerk, her team also looks at all those transactions at the end. So there's a lot of accountability in there. But, you know, not every single, what I would call kind of the operations folks don't have it. It's related more to your superintendents, your foreman, maybe some of your very senior employees that are out in the field that have to purchase things. I know that Chief Smith and Chief Collier keep very tight reins on theirs. I know Mr. Murphy with Public Works pulled his back quite a bit as well, and Mr. Mefford did as well with Parks and Rec. So we do, you know, try to keep very tight control over them. And again, they all go through, you know, it doesn't matter which department, they all go through Mr. Self's, the purchasing division, and then they end up with Ms. Smith over in accounting.
Very good. Any other discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Lucas?
Yes.
Commissioner Granger?
Yes.
Commissioner Street?
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes?
Yes.
Mayor Branch?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Commission has adopted Resolution Number 2025-0624.2, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Panama City declaring the purchasing card policy manual to be adopted and modifying its policy and procedure manuals to include the addition.
Item 12C is consideration to approve Budget Resolution 2025-0624.4 for enhancements to Daffin Park and Glenwood ASAP in the amount of $400,000 utilizing a community development block grant funds. The city is designated as a direct entitlement community for the receipt of the Community Development Block Grant, or CDBG, funds from the Department of Housing and Urban Development, and we receive an annual allocation to complete projects which result in a direct benefit to the low to moderate income areas of the city. Funds were designated to complete these projects in the 2023 and 2024 allocations through CDBG. The enhancements to Daffin Park include basketball court striping and resurfacing, bleachers, football goalposts, lights, batting cages, and shade sails for the baseball dugout. The improvements to the Glenwood ASAP facility included updated multi-activity play center, basketball court, swings, a gaga pit. I don't know what that is, but it sounds fun. The updated equipment will all provide the children who attend the facility with enhanced outdoor experiences daily and efforts to improve their quality of life. Staff recommendation through the Director of Housing and Community Services that the Commission approve this request.
Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve.
Second. Who wants to say?
Second take.
All right, Robbie, take second. Any discussion?
I'm gaga over this.
I am too. This is awesome. I'm super happy.
Yes.
I'm going to put y'all on the spot. Do y'all know what that is?
I have no idea.
No idea.
Commissioner Lucas, come on, you got to know what that is.
Well, now
Commissioner Lucas
Google
looking at-
Google
Google
says that it is it's a pit for ball swinging. It's ADA accept.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it can be inside or outside. It can be inflatable. But it's a precision play area.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Great job, too.
I did ask the city manager about doing something to the facade of the ASAP building. If there's a way to do that, we've got the brand spanking new MLK Center coming on board, beautiful, and the corner ASAP building needs a little sprucing up.
Love.
Yeah, a little love.
Awesome. Any other discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Commissioner Lucas?
Yes.
Commissioner Granger?
Yes.
Commissioner Street?
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes?
Yes.
Mayor Branch?
Absolutely, yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Commission has adopted Resolution Number 2025-0624.4, a resolution providing for the amendment of the approved fiscal year 24-25 budget for enhancements to Daffin Park and the Glenwood ASAP facility.
Item 12D is consideration of approval of award of bid PC 25-025, the Millville AWT, which is Advanced Wastewater Treatment Plant, odor control unit installation to Marshall Brothers for the amount of $212,000 and authorization to enter into the contract. As background information, the installation of the odor control unit for the Millville Wastewater Treatment Facility will reduce corrosive gases and control odors to the surrounding area. The unit, selected by Mott McDonald, is planned for installation in the original odor control unit footprint. The 500 cubic foot per minute unit uses biological treatment to reduce odors with a backup carbon filter to control any sudden unexpected concentration spikes. Additional relevant information is enclosed in your packet. Staff recommendation to the Director of Public Works is that the Commission approve this award and the contract.
Have a motion?
Make a motion, we approve staff's recommendation.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, when are we going to get one of these on 23rd Street?
It has one. It has one, Commissioner.
Although we've had some conversations about like just making sure that we've got it operational as well.
It's operational. It's just, at times, let me just say, there's sometimes higher levels of wastewater going to our plants.
Yeah.
Then I'm not sure.
Any other discussion? Please call the roll.
Commissioner Lucas?
Yes.
Commissioner Granger?
Yes.
Commissioner Street?
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes?
Yes.
Mayor Branch?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Item 12E is consideration to approve the special event permit application for the annual Millville Block Party on July 3rd of 2026, next year, from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. on 9th Street and Cactus Avenue, sponsored by Dr. J. Dia Green Jones. This will involve a road closure on 9th Street from Satsuma Avenue to Cactus Avenue and on Satsuma Avenue from East 9th Court to East 9th Street. As background information for the Commission's consideration, encloses the application for the annual Millville Block Party scheduled to take place Friday, July 3rd of 2026 from 5 to 11 p.m. Road closures would begin at 2 p.m. and remain in effect until 11 p.m. on both 9th Street and Satsuma Avenue. That exhibit is highlighted here on the screen and in your agenda packet. This event brings together residents, local businesses, and visitors for an evening of unity, entertainment, and fun. The total special event fees assessed to the applicant amount to $175, which includes a $25 application fee and $150 for the provision of 15 garbage cans. Per the organizer's request, a previously submitted security deposit has been transferred to this event. The invoice attached as Exhibit C includes only the special event fees and does not reflect on the security services charge. For the event in 2025, the Bay County Sheriff's Office provided security with the same number of deputies at no charge. With City Commission approval, there will be no security charge in 2026, as long as the Bay County Sheriff's Office as an agency continues to provide their support by providing security during the event. I'll just add that, it would, go through the same process as any special event. My expectation is that Chief Smith would make a recommendation as to the appropriate number of law enforcement officers needed for this event based on the information and such factors as road closures, amount of people expected to attend, the serving of alcohol. And again, if the Sheriff's Department commits to that as an agency, meaning from the sheriff, staff would recommend that the commission approve this as presented before you today.
Do I have a motion?
I move we approve. Also note that for discussion, move we approve.
Second.
Just want to note, this is the fifth year of this event. It has been held successfully. It is one now that folk who grew up in the area return home to be a part of. And we are looking forward to it again this year and invite everyone to come out and be a part of this homecoming.
That's where you played, that's where you played tennis.
Yeah. Who's better at tennis?
Of course, me.
Okay. Any other discussion?
I'll just add, some of the, because we had some discussion on this, I just want to make sure that, if there's any questions collectively. So, the commission did approve last year the off-duty management. That's the program that we use in order to provide security for these events. City of Panama City uses that. The City of Panama City Beach uses it, as well as the Bay County Sheriff's Department. The way it typically works is that whoever's jurisdiction the event is in, the men and women of that agency get kind of first shot at getting that extra money in those hours. There's a timeline that exists that they have to commit to it. If not, then it does open up potentially for either Bay County SO or PCB, PD folks to come in and inside of our city, inside of our jurisdiction, and provide those services as overtime or extra time. And likewise, our folks would have that opportunity at the PD to go either to the beach or to that through this thing. So this is a little bit different. We're kind of bypassing that to some degree. But again, as long as Sheriff Ford is willing to support that, provided with the number of police or deputies that Chief Smith feels is appropriate, staff supports this recommendation.
I'd just like to add, I mean, if there's any law enforcement that wants to volunteer at our events, like I think that should be something that's allowed for people to do. We have mutual aid constantly across all things. I know there's great working relationship between all agencies, but if people want to volunteer, to reduce the costs on events, like I don't think that's an issue. So just to put that on record.
I agree.
Well, this is, as I said, an event that has been going on now 6 years by the time 2026 occurs. And the organizers think of it as a well-oiled machine that's working well. And the Bay County Sheriff's Office has been the security for the event, will continue to be per my discussion with the sheriff. So we're in good stead here, I think.
Awesome. Any other discussion?
Sir, call the roll.
Commissioner Lucas?
Yes.
Commissioner Granger?
Yes.
Commissioner Street?
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes?
Yes.
Mayor Branch?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Lucas?
Yes.
Commissioner Granger?
Yes.
Commissioner Street?
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes?
Yes.
Mayor Branch?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
That's what it's doing.